Oh, and welcome back to round 5 of Limitless Qualifier 3, sponsored by PCA. We're here watching from Jordan Palmer's perspective. Jordan Palmer of Australia, he's staying up late tonight and starting off 4-0 in this tournament, if I can remember correctly. And he's playing a really interesting deck that likely takes a really good matchup versus Dragapult, the new Pokemon, and that is Dark Box, a deck we first saw introduced around last year's World Championships and had been a kind of meme in the community, but today Jordan decided to play it apparently.
He really did, and Darkbox is a is a deck that needs to set up. It has the same problem as decks that need to set up in a meta of tag teams. But just the fact of attacking for Tyranitar and milling your opponent, come on, man. With 10 energies on the board, I think it needs like what 11, 10 energies. I'm not even sure myself.
It's 10 energies
But
to
if you do it,
mill
just
15 cards of your opponent's deck. I think it was massive mill, and that is that is my dream to watch that. And every time I pulled it off my testing for Worlds last year, that was amazing to watch. But back then, you had decks that were so aggressive and just could be able to 9 Temptations with, for example, Ability Sword and take out your Sneasels and Weewaws. But now, he's seen his opportunity. Dragapult is very popular this tournament, and he's taking his chances. He is.
Indeed, and obviously it's a very resourceful deck overall. It does have ways to deal with any type of deck. It has, I think, a really good matchup against like any control decks. It's a decent matchup against ADP Zacian, depending on how you set up, because you are, after all, using these tag teams that are quite hard to knock out in one hit. But overall, it's not a bad deck. It just needs to have a good start, I would say.
Yeah, he definitely needs a good start here, but he already starts off well, I think. Like, he has the Sneasel, gets to the energy attachment. He's getting much of what he's wishing for in a good turn 1 here, so nothing bad for Jordan, and
Indeed.
it's going to be an interesting game because when Darkbox sets up, games are going to get really interesting from the Darkbox point of perspective because he has so many attackers to roam around. You mentioned Trinitar, Darkrai is there, Darker Umbreon, of course, not to forget Umbreon, but we like Darkrai a bit more here. And he also has stuff like Gustlord in the deck.
Yep. It's a very resourceful deck, and it doesn't have any like complete auto loss, especially since like fighting is not, at least not a type that is being played right now. It just needs a little bit of time to set up. But look at that, the opponent is already starting with a Zacian with 2 energies on turn 1. That's pretty menacing. If he even is able to attack somehow, oh, even a Crashing Hammer, I like that. But yeah, actually Tails for this one. But yeah, as I said, like if it's able to put up pressure, the opponent, it will be really hard for Jordan to keep up.
Yeah, definitely. But like these Darkbox decks are taking really close matchups versus control decks, of course. Power playing being one of the main things that has been annoying these Darkbox decks playing against control. But you see Jordan, he doesn't mind. He thinks that his matchups against control apparently is good enough for him to take this deck today. And I'm 100% sure that when I'm saying this, he's likely playing Darkbox because it beats Dragapult. It simply just beats Dragapult. There's no way around this.
Indeed, it does have a really good matchup because of weakness, and at the same time, Dragapult is not the one-shot type of deck, and definitely if you give time to this kind of deck, you will not be happy about the results. There you go, already at Jirachi, starting off. It's a pretty decent start. Weevil in turn 2 is always nice, and it goes for the Symphony instead of the Dene. Obviously, it doesn't want to put down that the Dene against a matchup such as Zacian. We don't know if it is ADP Zacian yet.
But still beat the speed ADP we saw from Victor Fair earlier, for example, where he played against Yoshiyuki. But like you see here, it still gets interesting because Greninja Zoroark, like with this deck, it has so many options just to sit in one shot. Greninja Zoroark with massive amounts of energy, Trinitar taking extra prizes with its first attack, dealing 210 damage. That is massive.
Drawing also an extra prize, which is really good. Obviously, it does not one-shot the Zacian, so you need to somehow set up the damage, which might be pretty hard considering
Darkrai does that.
I think it only attacks on GXs though, so you will not be able to target. For example,
60 is on GXs, then it's going to be difficult, for him to set it up. But if he gets that set up, it's going to be free prizes on the Zacian.
Yeah, and I think he has the attack this turn already. He can get the Darkrai, Darkrai Prism, use the training cord, which I think it fetches an energy back from the discard. I'm not too sure myself.
when he puts it down, it lets him attach 2 energies with the Darkrai when he puts it down.
No, I was talking about the stadium, the training
Oh,
court.
yes. I think, yeah, that's energy acceleration, yeah.
And yeah, of course, with the as you say in the Darkrai, then lets you put 1 energy back. Yeah, that's the training court effect. And now the Darkrai is gonna be able to accelerate the energies, and I think that's the only energy acceleration he plays.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough, because this deck, as we said, it's not the fastest of decks. It doesn't need to like push super hard early game.
Yeah, what this deck fell really victim to was that decks being able to take these one-shots, because Dark Fox is not very fond of one-shots, really, because when you remove the energies, it's hard for them to build back up, but their game plan is to keep these energies in play for what we mentioned early in the game, this Tyranitar Tag Team GX, really awesome second attack, GX attack, where...
It is awesome if you're able to pull it off, and I think he does play 10 energies exactly, so he will need everything on the board to make it happen, but if it happens, it happens, and it's cool.
That's going to be one of the moments of the day.
Yeah, there we go. That's the Shadow Connection. Moving 4 energies on the Darkrai. I'm pretty sure he needs 5 energies for the full effect of Dark Moon, but I don't think that's what he's going for at the moment.
Definitely, like, against these EDP session decks, if you can Dark Moon, knock out an EDP before it gets going, really, that's...
Yeah, that's really tough. Really tough. And let's also remember the turn after they're not able to play any trainer. This includes supporters, stadiums, and items. So it will be really hard for them to catch up.
Exactly.
So the opponent right now...
He's definitely planning on taking out the station with Dark Moon. Really seems like it, because...
Yeah.
What else would he do? Like...
It does have that pan attached to it. So it's
but Dark Moon doesn't care about pans.
Yeah, exactly. Dark Moon just says it's a direct knockout. So there we go. This is Jirachi looking for some cards. Right now, the game is still up for grabs. Just one prize is not going to make much of a difference. Let's see. Crashing Hammer again. I really like Crashing Hammers. I played it myself in Malmo, and that was it really switched. I played actually against your brother. Really.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking about from Malmo, but. Let's not talk about that too much.
I know.
And still keep us on the game here, because the Crushing Hammer here in this station deck here is really important versus Dark Box deck to keep him away from using this Dark Moon to knock out the station.
Yeah, exactly. That's the reasoning behind Crashing Hammer. It's a game that it's a card that can switch up the game. We see actually Lucario Melmetal, more energy control showing off from the opponent, which I really like, because against this type of matchup, discarding energy from your opponent can be a really tough feat. Either taking a one shot, which I don't think he will be able to, but being able to pressure is good enough.
Definitely, and this Lucario Melmetal, I think Jordan's going to be scared of it, because it is going to swing the energies on his board, and when he attacks with a Darkrai, it's going to remove 3 energies from the Darkrai when he uses full Metal Wall, for the full effect, of course.
Yeah.
It also makes it really much harder for Jordan to actually set up this Tyranitar for the milling effect, so I don't think we're going to see this game.
Yeah, no, definitely not. It's a really hard attack to pull off. You can always do for the 5 energies to 250, which one-shots... it does one-shot the Zacian.
No, it's 210. It's 210.
Oh no, I'm talking about the GX. 5 energies, 250.
Oh yeah.
Effect. That will be able to knock out the Zacian if he's not able to pull off this Dark Moon GX. Because of the energy that was actually discarded. So let's see what he's able to pull off. His end is looking pretty stale right now. Doesn't need to find something to do. He also doesn't play any Dark City, which gave free retreat to this deck. Gives a bit more of of moving around.
Definitely, and it's going to be interesting to see here.
There's an energy in the Darkrai. And does he go just for the Dark Moon for the no trainer effect?
Yeah, it's gonna make his Zacian effectively be stuck here.
Yeah, exactly. Probably the worst case scenario here is just retreating this Zacian, attaching an energy to the Melmetal and seeing the GX. But he obviously slows 1 turn down, so it's not too bad. But obviously, it's not what he wanted to do this turn.
No, definitely not. And Jordan, again, we talked about Dark Box needing time to set up, and he's kind of stumbling already.
Yeah, that's a steel faced actually. We didn't consider it a fast attack, 50 damage, and he fetches up an energy. But it attaches it to itself, so therefore he can
attach onto the station, which he really
Yeah,
want that
luckily he
Lucas
didn't even.
Memo
I think he didn't have a target at all. It didn't even look for an energy. There's a boss order from the Stellar Wish, but that's not really what it wants to get at this point. He also drew a training court, which it doesn't need right now. Yeah, this is not looking fantastic right now. He started pretty decently, but that's just the pressure that Zacian is able to put up, Like, Zacian, 250 HP Pokemon with the pan, 230 damage every turn, if you're able to switch out. It's
and
pretty
remember,
hard to deal with, man.
280 HP with the Full Metal Wall, so
Exactly.
awesome amounts of potential for that.
In boss order, probably trying to slow him down by catching up that Zacian, but there is a training court in play. The opponent can just get an energy back from the discard. Oh yeah, this is not looking great. Jordan started pretty well, but look at how much he was slowed down right now.
Yeah, definitely, and you see he's down to having 3 energies in play already from a massive good start. So
oh yeah, Dark Box probably just, as it looks for now, remaining in the meme zone, not getting out. Maybe with the Dragapult, against the Dragapult matchup, it would have done better, because right now it's really hard for Jordan to take a knockout. And yeah, this deck just requires a lot of setup, and if just one little misstep, one little turn in which you miss the supporter, it's gonna be really tough for you.
Definitely, that's what we were talking about with Dark Box. You need cards constantly. You need to attach these energy.
Oh, there's a Marnie, but wow, from a bad hand to a worse one right away. Even a Crashing Hammer. Oh man, just salt in the wound here. Still Fist, and he does play actually a pretty decent consistency line. Does play those 4 Professor Research, 2 Cynthia, and 3 Acrobike, so it does have the tools, but he's just not drawing them at this situation. Shrine of Punishment as well, putting more pressure. There's an Acrobike. Maybe we see something going on. So yeah, there's a Professor Research as well. That's pretty good. See how we can follow up to this. Let's remember, he already used his Energy Acceleration, the Darkrai, but he does play those Scoop Up Nets. So every turn he might be able to, pivot around this Darkrai Prism, continually accelerating energies, and eventually being able to swing back into this game.
Definitely, and we have to see what he gets off the Zackrabrak, really. We see the Gust Lord here, but not really needed. He needs to get these energies attached again, and
yeah, no.
This Aquarium Memo looks really daunting in the active spot here, because you can see it's massive.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a massive Pokemon.
He will not be able to knock it out with the Tyranitar. He can attack this turn, just scoop up net, get the 2 energies back with the Darkrai. So that's a good thing for him. But the 250 from Tyranitar would not knock it out. Will leave the Lucario Metal actually just on I think 20 HP because of the Shrine of Punishment.
Yeah.
So yeah, he actually needs to think about something else. And let's also remember, he needs to be mindful of the Lucario Metal Full Metal Wall GX attack. Because now if he puts the Mega Sableye with all the energies on the active, he might fall into the full discard effect.
And I think he's going to fall into it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's going to fall into it. And that's going to take off massive 5 energies. And that's half of the energies he plays.
Indeed. The Caramel Metal, as you said, it's very big. It's hard to take down. There's the Greedy Crush. 180 actually could not GX at all, so it just leaves this Caramel Metal completely healthy. Wow. Oh, this game is really slowing down here for Jordan.
Yeah, and that's what his opponent really wants to. It's slowing down Jordan as much as possible, meanwhile keeping himself in an advantageous spot by slowing the game down so you get more turns and get more chip damage in. Of course, his Lucario Memo deck does not take huge knockouts, but one thing it does really do well, it keeps the game going.
Yeah, it grinds down the opponent, eventually making them not having enough resources. We saw this concept of a deck in the past, but right now it really shines out thanks to Zacian, so you have that one-shot possibilities against other type of decks. There's an Ordinary Road, which will give him back some resources, especially the energies here. We're really looking forward to those. He has one training
really needed here.
Yeah, he has one left training court in the deck, but that's going to be just 1 energy per turn. And he has 8 energies already in the discard, now 6. So yeah, right now he needs to probably a scoop up net, 1 more energy, but even then he needs to accelerate 5 energies in 1 turn if he wants to attack with this Mega Supply.
Yeah, let's hope that he could, off the research, he's not going to be able to draw 4 energies, but if he could draw 4 energies and double scoop up net, that would have been the nuts in that point, but unfortunately, it's not going to be able to do that at this time.
Indeed. Let's see what happens here, because that's the energy again. You can just move it around with the Weavile GX. Professor Research, it really depends on what it draws here. Let's see.
Is he going to stay
some
alive?
energies.
There's 2 energies, but there's no scoop up net.
Yeah, he could try to fetch it with the Jirachi. Actually, it's pretty good. This Wish removes the Chomky Boy from the active. There's a Stellar Wish. There's a Training Court. Not bad.
But there's no scoop up nets.
Exactly. And Scoop Up Net, yeah, we were talking about this card before. He actually decides to take nothing from this hand. Decides to go for another Jirachi. Actually decides just to pass right away. Okay. Not sure what happened here.
Me neither, but what is important in this case here is that Jordan does not have much of a follow-up. He's kind of stuck to his means here, and it's going to be really hard for him to pull back this game into his own grasp here, and you see his opponent here really just getting it in.
Catcher, yeah, he knows that this kind of the Dark Box, since he doesn't play the Dark City, it's very easy to lock it down.
Yeah, and definitely when he has a Pokemon stuck in the active with no energies attached, he has to move up the energies, and then if it gets damaged, it's done for unless Jordan gets his switches.
Exactly, he even can knock it out this turn if he drew an energy actually there. But no, luckily Intrepid Sword doesn't get the energy. Actually, I'm pretty sure he didn't have the energy before with the Steel Fist, or at least didn't decide to attach it. But at the same time, even this opening is not enough for Jordan, I think. He is already calling GG because look at that hand. It's a pretty sad hand.
It's a mess.
Yeah. Zacian also found an energy finally with that Intrepid Sword. So yeah, Beyblade, knockout, and those will be the last 3 prizes drawn by Jesse, the opponent.
Exactly. We had high hopes for Dark Box in this round, but unfortunately, whenever we call high hopes for a deck, it apparently does not win its game, man.
Yeah.
Very unfortunately, we saw Shimada lose with the Lucario Melmetal deck before, but now we see Jesse heading back with Lucario Melmetal, showing that its destiny is not only to lose on stream like Shimada unfortunately did before.
So yeah, we saw always this type of decks, the sort of the attempt to meta break, the attempt to switch it up, try something fun, because obviously this is a very fun deck, I believe. But we see that always the decks that tend to do better are the ones that are more consistent, and rather the ones that are played by most people, or at least resource from online resources and think about many people. Do you think that maybe considering in the past we saw decks such as the Truth, thinking about Other Worlds or other secret decks, exactly, taking big tournaments down, do you think that maybe the internet took reduce the possibility for this deck to do well?
Well, back when I won with Yamega, no one was talking about Yamega, so it's still an option, because back when I won Worlds, the internet was still there, and article sites were full on going as it was today. Today it's more widespread, of course, but no one mentioned Yamega in the discussion whenever I was on, and there could still be an option for a deck which comes around for a really big tournament that could hit, but right now it doesn't seem like it. But of course we can't know. If it's secret, it's secret.
Exactly, exactly. And obviously, remember, this is the first tournament that happens with Rebel Clash. I think there were just some other series in the past week, but this is the first big tournament in which we'll see the new set having an effect on the meta. It's pretty hard, to say what right now the meta looks like, but it seems that the previous contenders are kind of strong. Picrom especially made a big comeback. I think we'll see a lot of it again.
Yeah, we already are. Yeah. And Pika is definitely a strong deck. Gained stuff like Bolt Hunt and Sweet Lightning Energy to set up, and a lot of decks gain something like the ADP station decks, or just station decks in general, have this Summer Center to deal with Dragon Pull, for example, as we saw earlier. with Bird playing, and there's a lot of interesting cards from the past sets that also become viable now because of these massive Pokemon VMAX that are coming. Of course, we didn't see VMAX in this game, but we saw a good old concoction of Dark Box, but unfortunately,
trying to implement the new scoop up net. But yeah, we saw overall the new cards are having a pretty big effect on the meta. The meta is slowly shifting. We'll see probably by the end of today and tomorrow what actually will be the main contenders. So yeah, we'll probably be right back with another match. And on the other case, we'll be back with the next round quite shortly. So stick around, don't go anywhere, and see you soon.
See you then.